What's up guys, how's it going? On today's video, we're going to be installing the SaltGrain solid mount shifter into my E36 M3. So I already opened the box, but this is what comes with it. 2 stickers. I'll skip that for a second. You get the specs of the shifter right there, nothing on the back. And then you get this wonderful piece, 2 mounting points there, 1 mounting point there. This is for E36s and E46s. So, very nice piece. SaltGrain Racing right there. Does not come with a shift knob, so you need your own. I'm just going to use the one from the car currently. So let's get the interior taken apart and let's get underneath the car and take off the carrier assembly. Let's do it. Before we start the video, I want to clarify this is not a sponsored review. So let's start in the interior. First, let's go through the gears real quick. So I'm not sure what's done in this car. I'm pretty sure it's all stock. The selector joint does feel pretty decent for ones that I've had. So first, second, third, fourth, and then fifth, even though it doesn't look like it. So there we go. Fifth, fourth, third, second, first, and reverse. So there we go. So we're going to start by taking the shift knob off, and then we will take the shift boot off. Then you'll take the shifter insulation out. So I'm going to attempt to do this without taking the whole center console apart, which would be nice. So what's really nice about this shifter kit, I'm going to take you guys out of the mount. How you in? Excuse that, that'll get fixed. But what's really nice is on E36s and E46s, there are already pre-open mounts for the hole. So there's no drilling for this. So there's 3, there's the 1 right there, and then there's 2 right here. They're already ready to go. You don't have to drill. All you have to do is bolt it in, and it's ready to go. That's all you really need to do from the interior. I'm now going to jack up the car and then try to get the clip on the transmission off, which starts with a B, everyone's favorite clip, BMW clip, and then just the rear carrier assembly, which I'll show once it's out of the car. Okay, so after finishing stuff inside, now under the car, this is going to be the hardest part to get. This is the B clip. So basically, if you don't have a pick set, go to Harbor Freight and get the $2 orange pick set. If you don't have screwdrivers, go buy the 15 set or whatever. I think it's like 10 bucks. That's pretty much all you need to get this. So you don't need to remove anything from underneath. Let's go slide underneath. Oh. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to stick your hand all the way up in here, and you're going to feel the selector joint, which is right above. You can kind of see my fingers wiggling right there. Hard to see. And then above that is the carrier. So on the driver's side, you'll feel a little, actually on the transmission, you'll move up, you'll feel the bump from the side of and then if you go a little bit farther forward, you'll feel a groove. And that's the side that you got to flick up, or the inside is what you need to flick up on, but at least you're feeling it correctly on the driver's side of the car. So what you're going to do is you're going to go all the way up there, get back out from underneath the car. What you're going to do is you're going to fiddle your hands up there and get this up there. And you're going to start by just putting this, putting just a flat pick all the way through it. All the way through it. So to lift it up a little bit. Then I moved to a little bit of a crooked pick and put that through and lifted it all through it. And then I just went through with a bunch of different small screwdrivers as I went through, lifted up a little more. And then for this one, I lifted up and I kind of got it probably about there, and I just, as hard as I could, pulled the screwdriver down and it clipped out, so it'll go up, you'll slide it out, and then it'll come right out. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the rest of the carrier. So you're just going to, on the actual bushing, you're just going to stick 2 screwdrivers in there and turn, and it'll pop out, and then everything should come right down. And then you will need a right angle one of these to pull off the C-clip that's on the selector rod. So I'm going to finish doing that, and then I'll explain it again once it's out of the car. Okay, so now that the carrier assembly is out, I want to go back over the B-clip again. So again, all I did was, again, driver's side, you're going to start with this one. It's going to lift it up a little bit. You're going to go to the next one. It's going to lift it up a little bit more. You're going to go to another one, up a little bit more. And then, this is too big, but you get the point of it. And then you go like that and just flick it up. And then once it's up, you go like this and pull it out. As you can see, the actual hook is on the inside of the trans, so you could use a right angle pick and try to pull it off and like this. Or if this is if the motor's out of the car and trans out of the car, this is super easy. But so that gets this part freed. The last part is the carrier bushing in the back, which is just pressed in like that. So what you'll do is you'll take, let's see where the screwdriver go. Here we go. So what I did was I took that size screwdriver, and there's 2 slits in the actual chassis that are right here and right on the other side, so you can kind of see the mark. Excuse me. You can kind of see where I was pushing up on it right there. And so these are like gripped in like this. So what you'll do is you'll take the screwdriver, and really all you have to do is just shove it up in there and then flick, and it'll pop down the one side, and then just do it to the other side while holding this, and it'll just come right out. And then once both sides are out, obviously the boot's on the top here. What you'll do is go on the interior, take the boot off, and then from the top, you'll kind of feed everything over to the passenger side, and then just push it down, and then come back underneath the car, and it's all out. So I'm going to position the new shifter in its place in the interior, and I'll show you that right now. So now that we're back in the car, let's go ahead and install it. I'm gonna reuse the shift boot, so I cut just the top layer off just so I can leave the rest of it in. So throw that out of the car. I'd say clean up any of the area you think needs cleaning, but I'm pretty much gonna tear this car apart after I do this install, so kind of useless. So I guess putting in this boot is also useless, but just for peace of mind. So we're gonna go ahead and slide the shifter in. Slide the carpet up and drop it in. There we go. Through the boot. There we go. That looks nice. Okay, so now that that is in, the only gripe so far that I have with the shifter is that I wish that the bolts were captive. So basically in the plate, it's notched out for this to fit snug, so that you only need, like a one person to tighten it. So that's the only downside, is technically you need 2 people. I'm only one person, so we're gonna make this work. So to start with, I'm just gonna put the Allen bolts how they are supposed to be, and put them facing down, and then I'll go underneath and add the washer and the lock nut underneath. Everything's all tightened down. So I put the Allen keys facing down, so the Allen key top is actually sticking from the top here, and it's a 13 lock nut on the bottom. The inner one, all you need is a 1/4 ratchet and this, and then you can just quickly do it. So what I did was I took one of these that has a bunch of Allen keys on it, or even just a single Allen key itself. So what I did was I'd stick it in and wedge it either to this or onto the center console. Mine's already broken, so it didn't matter to me, and I wedged it in between the foam or the carpet, and then I went underneath and cranked it down, and it would hold pretty well. So that was pretty easy. So I can say that this is a one-person job. Could it be easier? Absolutely. Again, SaltGrain, maybe the next iteration, make the nuts on the top captive, so all you have to do is screw from the bottom and don't need to really do anything from the top. And that's kind of a, I'd say, a simple in milling. So there we go. Here it is. My fifth detent is bad, so that's why it's hanging all the way towards fifth gear. But here we go. We'll go through it. First, second, third, fourth, and then fifth, and then reverses. You gotta clunk it over. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, it feels great. Sounds great. Ideally, you'd also want to use a DSSR. I'm using a single, the OEM selector joint, so that would be better. And also having a new selector joint. This one doesn't feel horrible. It's definitely, there's still some play, but that's probably in this, a little bit in a little bit in the selector joint and a little bit in not having a DSSR, a dual selector rod. So another thing I forgot to mention was I did ask SaltGrain about upgrading your motor and transmissions to poly. They said you can leave it OEM, but with solid mounts, usually you want to upgrade to poly. I am running the stock ones that are probably blown out, but again, that's just for basically making this video and doing a test for it and enjoying it for a very, very short while before I start rebuilding the car. I wasn't paying much attention when screwing it down, so the boot that I cut fell, so it's all good, not a big deal. But if you're paying attention more, just make sure it's nice and evenly seated, and it should stay. So I'm gonna have a little bit of exhaust come into the cabin, but I usually drive with the windows down anyway. So let me get it buttoned up, and then we'll go for a drive. So that was the driving footage. I just did a quick lap right now, so I don't know if I'm putting this clip in or putting another clip in. If it's really short, it's because there was a bunch of cops on my street and the car's a little loud, and I'm in California, so I'm not gonna take chances. Definitely want the rubber boot. I mean, I was getting smoked up in here, so that kind of sucked. So I'd reinstall that, but all you have to do is put the shifter insulation back in. Then you'll just put your shift boot back on. And then just add your shift knob back on. Oh, that's the wrong way. There we go. Cool. Yeah, so much better than, even with my fifth detent being broken, it's still, for just normal driving with the other one, it's, you could go 1 2, you can go 1 2, and then once you went to third, you'd be like, am I in third or fifth? But now it really just falls over to fifth, so it's actually great. I don't know why, but I always have a trouble going from fourth to fifth, so this is nice that it just goes straight to it. So there you go, guys. That is the SaltGrain Racing shifter in an E36 M3. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, put it down in the comments below. The link to buy one of these is also down below. Also, this video, probably should have mentioned this at the beginning, not sponsored. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at TheMassDriver. If you need any BMW parts, E30, E36 M3, Z3M, check out my parts page at Rage Parts. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.